Hello, my friends. I'm sorry the light is so strange today. It's very overcast, but the light is there's lots of glare, which I know happens sometimes on overcast days, but I wasn't expecting it. Anyway, for you today, I have pulled the Otter in reverse. So, let's see what the Otter has to say for itself. So normally the Otter is a very happy card, but having it in reverse suggests that you are an imbalanced Otter. All right, so when out of balance, gloomy, sighs, makes silly excuses. Okay. When in balance, full of love, needs nothing. All right. Let's hear the description of where you could be if you were balanced. Perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck, the Otter represents absolute bliss. Otter energy is the playfulness of a child, available to us at any age. They have a giddiness and reverence for life itself, without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism. Imagine yourself with a little more Otter energy. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The Otter card begs these questions and wants to transport us to that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. All right. It says to bring into balance, you should try a dance party or celebration. All right. That sounds at least pleasant. Let's see what else is going on for you. I had all right, we'll go with these. So we're going to try the 78 Tarot. I think they call it the Animal deck. What tarot message do we have for you today? Fudge. Okay. Funny how they do that. Okay. Is that everything? All right. We're going to stop here because I think you want to say something. But I want to get this message out before You have your say. All right, Page of Swords in reverse. Someone who is not learning, doesn't want to learn, is afraid to learn. With the Three of Swords next to it, it seems that you're afraid of the pain involved with learning. But you can't experience the otter, the joy and the bliss, without the pain and the grief and the mourning and all the other things that come with being human and alive, as uncomfortable and unpleasant as they may be at times. So this is the Fool and the Seven of Wands, both in a sideways or blockage position. You're afraid to be a fool, afraid to take a leap of faith. And I believe this is because you're afraid of what others think. You're not ready to stand up for yourself against all comers. Then we have Justice, which honestly, this is a scary looking Justice card. So this is accountability, which I am sure you don't want to deal with. But then we have the Eight of Wands in reverse and the Nine of Wands in reverse. So, no movement, and the Nine of Wands in reverse is feeling sorry for yourself, perhaps some paranoia, given that it's next to the Seven of Wands. Probably others don't care as much as you think they will about whatever it is you're so worried about. Something to think about. So what is it that you're so worried about? I think that's what you want to talk about. I'm going to grab the Jungian Tarot just for laughs. I haven't worked with this one too much, but you have something you want to say. What is it you're so worried about? What do you want to say about all this? I'm going to have to read from the book because these are not standard tarot card meetings, and I don't have them memorized. Not even close. All right. So we start off with the Ten of Cups. I like that the pearl is a complete rainbow up there. But let's see what this means. End of a cycle. Death, downfall, loss of profession, divorce, banishment, loss of love, and sickness. So, it is Saturn and Cancer, if that is meaningful to you. It's interesting. Then we have the Ace of Swords next to it. So you have the ending of everything right next to an ace, which should be a beginning. I don't know what we're going to get with this deck. Here it is. Pluto in Libra. Conflict of ideas. Power struggle. Ideological conflict over principles. Great force exposes shocking secrets. Real truth comes out in open and direct fight. Someone may be hurt emotionally, physically, or financially. Something new emerges. Outworn ideas discarded. The root of thought. Well, you're going through it, aren't you? All right. 9 of Cups. Moon in Cancer. Vacillation. Free flow of ideas, thoughts, emotions. If feelings are controlled by others, terrible uncertainty and inability to focus. But if under your own mental control, these currents are very powerful. Interaction with the unconscious may mean intentional diminishing of the personality. Focus. Loosening the bonds of perceived reality. Well, that's quite a bit more positive. And this is normally the Judgment card. I haven't actually changed the names of any of these cards, just the meanings. Pisces, archetype of rebirth, isolated introspection, struggle facing opposites. Judgment is a moody and murky lower level of justice, which we had come out here. So perhaps you're finally moving through justice, beginning to take accountability. Occultism and psychism, development of the ability to perceive forces beyond appearance, the danger of spiritual pride. So you've heard the spiritual calling, you've started developing some things, but are you doing it in a healthy, humble manner? Or are you being a little prideful and overestimating what everything means? What do they call it? Spiritual materialism. That's always a risk. We're hardly ever as special as we think we are. Where do we go from here? Perhaps, though, well, let's see what else there is to say. This is the Tarot of the Orishas. Again, not a standard tarot deck, and the meanings can be different. So I have to read from the book, because I don't have these memorized. That's the 9 of Wands, and it landed upside down. On edge, actually, upside down. Interesting. Oops. I have to laugh, because this one, you know my rule, only the top one, but it looks like, what is it, Cousin It? It looks like Cousin It. Oh dear, I should be more respectful. Oh, all right. So, if these were tarot cards, straight up traditional tarot cards, this would be the Two of Swords. So it should be stagnation. But quite frankly, it looks like a card of a soul connection. We've got these two swans and what looks very much like a heart current here. Next to the Nine of Wands, Nine of Fire, which would be feeling battered and bruised and worn out, weary and weary, as you can see, because they're lying down, so they're definitely weary. Okay, where's my book? Here it is. These two are the major arcana, or the equivalent of major arcana. And that's where this deck probably varies the most, because they have different major arcana cards. Baba Larisha Omulu. Okay, this is, oh yeah, this is the equivalent of the Magician. You can see the as above, so below hand position. So this is someone working on self-mastery. So virtuous, wise, solitary, cautious, power of will and analysis, spirituality, faith, spiritual consultations. All right, let's see what the next one has to say. Oh, the Hermit. That makes sense. I was definitely getting some Hermit vibes going on here. All right. Fraternal and charitable consciousness, hypersensitive to physical pain, recuperation and end of an illness, dermatological and bone influence. So definitely a possibility of health issues, but also solitude, silence, self-examination, even shyness, which seems obvious if you're hiding yourself under a haystack like that. I would also say a need to, what is the saying? Stop hiding your light under a bushel. Yes, I think that's what's going on here. There's a need to find your light, your inner light. That's what the Hermit does. And then we have the self-mastery, the ability to use your gifts, whatever they may be. All right, let me take a look at Nine of Fire and Two of Air. More spiritual and mental activities than physical. It is advisable to go up to top stages of conscience, to abstain from liquor and sex. Energies are saved. Oh my goodness. So you have addiction issues. That's an interesting way to show it. But something spiritual, in reverse, something spiritual that could not be obtained, loss of time, delay in important matters, unexpected situations provoked by rival and enemies. I don't know, I'm getting it's in reverse, so I'm getting that finally perhaps you're dealing with these addiction issues. Two of air. Searching for ideals, communications, of course. Deals, transactions, strength, and thoughts are put together. Friendship, loyalty, respect. So you seem to be going through a lot. You have this card, these two cards together. Self-mastery, learning to harness your own energies, a need for solitude, and how did they put it? Silence, self-examination. So, from my own notes, I think of it as faith, trust, and insecurity. If you have faith, then you lose your insecurity. But when you are insecure, it is hard to have faith and hard to trust. So these would seem to be major issues for you, along with the addictions and the need for self-mastery and the ability to communicate. All right. I pulled out my Healing Heart Oracle deck today, which surprised me because I don't usually pull it out. But it seems like you might be in need of a message from the Healing Heart Oracle. There we go. Okay, that looks like two, but it's only one. Okay. We have number one. You have the first card in the deck. Healing Heart. I see you. Hurt Heart. Oh, I don't know why I thought it said Healing. It says Hurt Heart. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Dear Hurt Heart, I know you carry lots of sadness inside you, that it is very easy for you to take things personally and try to self-protect. You feel so scared, little and vulnerable inside, that you have needed an armor of spikes to protect you. At times people see you as cold and calculating, but in fact you are so tender and sensitive that if the armor was taken off, you could simply bleed out. I know this is not necessarily how you started, but all the rejection, humiliation, neglect, and cruelty have deeply wounded you. I see you. I feel your pain is deep. I know there are many cuts and scars all over your heart, and that you have been hurt, and you have hurt. But it is a vicious cycle. Now is an opportunity to look back on the Hurt Heart story. It's time to cry the tears that have been frozen and start to bring more light to the buried pain. I promise to start to nourish you with gentle, soft caresses, love, kindness, and warmth. Heart healing exercise. Imagine taking out this hurt part of your heart and holding it in your hands. Visualize green healing light and send your heart this green light of healing strength and loving kindness. Speak to your hurt heart and let it know that it can become whole, wise, and expanded. Visualize taking out any symbolic spikes representing the hurt it has suffered and placing them into an imaginary purple fire with the intention of letting go of old pain. Then send your heart emerald green energy with the intention of rejuvenating it, restoring it. Place this energetic heart that has received healing energy back into your chest. into your heart. Then take some slow, deep breaths in and out and allow the new healing energy to assimilate. Keep doing this process daily until your heart feels more whole. All right then, I'm going to leave the reading there. I hope you can find a way to heal. It seems the saying, hurt people is what applies here. And perhaps you are finally looking at how you have perpetuated this cycle. It's not easy, I know. But you need to find a way to break the cycle. I wish you the best of luck.